If you're a baby boomer, there's a good chance you've wondered what your next 20 years might look like. I know I have. That's one reason I recently traveled to Boise to spend a few days with my 91-year-old mother. I wanted to see how she was really doing, and it left me with an important question. Is she winning at aging? What I discovered taught me something about her and perhaps something about my own future as well. A few weeks ago, I watched a YouTube video entitled Winning at Aging, made by Nurse Jen, Healthcare Navigation. I'll leave a link in the description because I think it was really a great video. I was particularly impressed by this idea. Winning at aging does not mean never getting sick, never slowing down, or looking young forever. It means maintaining function, independence, connection, adaptability, and quality of life. I recently spent some time visiting my 91-year-old mother who lives alone in Boise, Idaho. When I say alone, I mean that she lives independently in her own home. My daughter lives half a mile away and my sister lives about 45 minutes away, and they check in with my mother frequently, in person and by phone. So I think Mom would prefer that I say she's living independently rather than living alone. Besides the obvious reason a daughter would visit her mother, I wanted to see how she was doing. I wanted to gauge her health, behavior, and cognition. So in early May, I traveled from Austin, Texas to Boise to spend a few days with her. In this video, I'm going to use 4 of the abilities Nurse Jen mentioned as being strong signs of winning at aging to assess how my mother is really doing. And this is important to me not only because she's my mother, but also because I think her status is a strong gauge of the future of my own path in aging. Those 4 abilities are curiosity and engagement, adaptability, resilience, recovering from setbacks, and maintaining independence as long as possible. As noted in the video, people who continue learning, reading, asking questions, trying new things, and staying interested in life often do much better emotionally and cognitively as they age. Sometimes it's as simple as reading, having hobbies, conversations with others, understanding technology, or learning how to recycle. As Nurse Jen noted, curiosity keeps people mentally engaged. My mother does very well in this category. We spend a bit of time reminiscing about family. My mother is one of 11 children, 4 of whom are still living, and all of whom have their own well-filled family trees. Mom's long-term memory is still pretty good, and while I had already heard many of her stories, there were some new ones as well. She was very interested to talk about my ranching lifestyle here in Texas and how much I am enjoying working with the cattle and keeping the cattle management software up to date. Farming was an important part of my mother's upbringing, and she says she's not surprised at all that I'm enjoying country life. We also talked about the things that she still enjoys doing: church work, reading, keeping in touch with family, as well as some of the things she misses doing, most especially yard work. She used to love keeping her lawn tidy as well as growing a few vegetables in her garden. But at 91, she pays for weekly lawn maintenance. And while I was there, my sister came and planted 2 tomato plants so Mom would continue to have garden fresh tomatoes. One thing that really surprised me was my mother's deep commitment to recycling and keeping things out of the landfill. She carefully separates her trash, and the first day I was there, she handed me the recycling cheat sheet so I would know how to properly dispose of different categories of paper, plastic, and other recyclables. I was also surprised to see how much she loves to watch game shows on television. She has her daily favorites: Jeopardy, Password and Tattletales, along with some favorite classic TV shows, most especially MASH, which I have always loved, and the Beverly Hillbillies, which was so hokey. The game shows are great for keeping her mind sharp, and the classic television shows were, in her opinion, more uplifting to watch than the news or some of the current TV programming. And honestly, I have to agree with her. The next one is adapting to change. This one is huge because aging requires constant adaptation. Your body changes, your energy changes, healthcare changes, technology changes, and the people who age best are the people who learn to adapt and be flexible while still being true to themselves. One big change for my independent mother is that she voluntarily gave up driving a few years ago, and she says she doesn't miss that at all. She has friends who are happy to take her grocery shopping, to church, and to other appointments. And an added benefit is that she gets to spend time with friends and keep those social connections thriving. This is certainly important in healthy aging, as isolation is often a big problem among seniors. Staying genuinely connected to people and life around you is a major strength. Mom has also pared down her cooking habits. Not only does she eat less, she has acknowledged that since her hands are a bit shaky, she doesn't feel comfortable using sharp knives anymore. Instead, she buys canned goods and pre-cut veggies so she doesn't have to cut up anything. And frankly, I'm really glad that she made that decision. She has also learned how to take her blood pressure every day, not because she's a hypochondriac, but because her doctor suggested that she keep track of how her diet and exercise might be affecting her blood pressure. And according to the doctor, she's doing a very good job of keeping herself healthy. She also rides a stationary bike a few days a week, and I'm sure this is also very helpful. I'm impressed with her continued commitment to her good health. Another benchmark is resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks. This is super important because as we age, life starts throwing more challenges our way: illnesses, falls, surgeries, losses, unexpected health problems. And one of the biggest signs of healthy aging is this: can you recover and adapt after setbacks? Maybe not perfectly, certainly not instantly, but eventually. My mother has endured the death of a child and has also gone through an unpleasant divorce. She has also outlived her parents and many of her siblings, as well as numerous dear friends. Before she retired, she had an interesting and challenging job with the Federal Bureau of Reclamation, which caused her to move numerous times in her career. While that wasn't a setback, it always meant she had to build new community ties. Through it all, her personal and spiritual strength has allowed her to keep on going with a positive attitude. She is definitely resilient. Living independently, driving, grocery shopping, and managing your own life are very strong indications of functioning and aging well. One of the signs Nurse Jen noted was the ability to get up independently. While that might sound simple, it's actually huge. Getting out of bed, getting out of a chair, using the bathroom independently, moving around safely are all important signs of independence and self-confidence. Mobility is one of the biggest predictors of independence in aging, and people often don't appreciate it until it becomes difficult. Mom still has good mobility. She may be slow, and she often uses a cane, but she can still get up and around and take care of her personal needs without someone giving her a hand, which is good because she is fiercely independent. I'm grateful that my mother is still alive and doing well. I know that's a blessing that not every baby boomer enjoys. And I appreciate being able to see my own path through her example. In addition to these benchmarks, spending this time with her brought to mind some of the pros and cons of aging, and I've made a list. But instead of calling them pros and cons, I'm going to call them challenges and blessings associated with aging. Some of the challenges are: the body may be slower, heavier, and more fragile. The loss of friends and family members, either from death or from relocation. Maybe not feeling relevant or useful, often tech challenged. And there may be fixed income money challenges. But the blessings: greater wisdom and more life experiences. Discernment, not sweating the small things or the things you cannot control. Better boundary management. Sometimes learning to say no takes years of practice. There's more time to pursue interests and do so at a slower pace. Don't forget senior discounts and looking in the mirror, and you may see your mother looking back at you. So, how do you feel about these strong signs of aging? What challenges and blessings have you noticed in your own life as you've gotten older? Please let me know in the comments below. I'm Jerry. I'm 70 and still becoming, and I hope you are still becoming your best self too. I hope you found this video to be interesting, thought-provoking, or useful, or all of the above. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.